First guests are a duo, in fact. Their names are Amin Jr. and Bryce Fender. They are the co-founders of Wilminvest, as well as students at the University of Delaware. How you doing today?
We're doing really good. Thank you for having us, David. Appreciate it.
Of course.
Thanks for your time. We're excited to be on this show and to tell you a little bit about our story.
Sure, Bryce. Tell me about Wilminvest, either one of you.
So Wilminvest is a social impact real estate investment company that we created a little over 2 years ago to date. We created this company primarily because of the amount of vacant and abandoned properties right here in our hometown, Wilmington, Delaware.
Wow. So tell me more about Wilmington. Why are there so many abandoned homes there, and why is there a business opportunity?
So Wilmington is very historic. Delaware is the first state. Wilmington is the biggest city in the first state. And unfortunately, there's an ever-rising population experiencing homelessness. And we've grown up here, and we've seen that there's a lot of distance between, not like geographic distance, but like a sort of a social different distance between the city of Wilmington and some other communities that are on the outside. So we see that there's a whole bunch of gaps and disconnects between, information and stories that are told between the city and what's outside. And like we said, a large part of this is because when people drive through the city, there's over 1,700 vacant properties, and there's a lot of people that need housing.
So tell me about the first property you ever renovated and how you found it and how it worked out.
So that was actually an insane experience. I mean, we're talking about getting up 6 a.m. before classes on some days, heading out to the homes, and then going to class just to go right back to the property after class. It definitely took a little bit of time to prove to the greater community, that we were serious, that, even though we were young in our 20s, raising the capital from a private investor, which funny enough, we actually met out of New York, brought that back home to our home state, and then deployed it into these. And actually, we did 3 homes at one time, was our first pilot program. And this was a public-private partnership with Department of Health and Social Services here in Delaware. But backing up a little bit, and how we got into this is my background in plumbing and construction. I really learned from my family construction businesses, and I saw them fixing up houses, and I said, you know what? We can put our brains together and our talents together and do the same thing. So we went out, pitched all over the country, raised a little bit of money, bought 3 houses, put 3 families in there, and now we're looking to grow the company.
So tell me about the big check behind you, Bryce.
So this right here was, we were fortunate enough to be supported by an incredible entrepreneurship program at the University of Delaware for entrepreneurship. It's actually, one of the big things that got our start. Joel and I took a class together called Startup Experience, led by Vince DeFelice, who has been one of our greatest mentors ever for our entire lives. But we went through the classes, we went through the programming, we even did a summer pre-accelerator program where we were supported by the school to work on our venture full-time during the summer of 2017. That's actually where we made a lot of relationships. And by the end of that accelerator, we had a pretty good pitch deck together. We had a good story. We had a business model that would work, and the relationships in place to make that actually happen. So after that, we applied to a couple different pitch competitions around the country. One of them was UD's own pitch competition, Hen Hatch, and we were lucky enough to tie for first place.
Amazing. Congratulations. So tell me about what impact, or rather social impact, and how that influences the way you do business at your company.
So the core 2 issues that we are addressing with our company is not only the high number of vacant and abandoned properties, but the high number of families right now that are documented needing quality housing in the state of Delaware. There's, with the average income that, a lot of the families in the area are receiving, affordable housing is really difficult to come by for a lot of these residents. So what we're doing is literally partnering up with Delaware's Health and Social Services, where they have a list of almost 1,000 families who right now need quality housing. We're basically addressing and filling this need by providing ready-to-go home units that these families then move in. But it doesn't stop there. After the families are actually placed into the home, we're strategically identifying the needs of these families. Say they have problems with employment. Say they need credit remediation. Say they need opportunities to finish or attain their GED or certifications so that they can get a job. We're really looking at the unique needs of our families, linking those needs with the resources that are available at the state, and then actively monitoring how the families use these resources and then ultimately progress to a point where they can reduce their dependence on the housing programs.
So these people who move into these houses, are they buying them from you, or are you selling them to the state? Who is your end user?
So we're right now basically providing an incubation period. The families are actually being funded through this state program to have a period of about 1 year where they are in the homes and then they get to grow. At the end of that period, we then assist the families with two options. There is unique mortgage products that CRA lenders from different banks are willing to help these folks get into their own home, or we are finding some longer-term low-income housing that typically is 2 years in length. So it really all depends on the family. Our number one goal is to promote homeownership opportunities because we believe that is the true way to break these sometimes intergenerational cycles of poverty that these residents are in. But if not, we do then work with the state to find longer-term housing. But really, who our user is the state of Delaware, in that they're simply using our home as like a landing pad for these families for a period of time.
So I'm out of time, but I want to ask you, the burning question. Are you guys going to keep on doing this after you graduate?
Oh, of course. We're sitting in an office right now that one of our other mentors has been supporting us with in 1313 Innovation in the city of Wilmington. So it's really, really awesome because we have two spots. We have a spot in Newark, where the University of Delaware is located, at Horn Entrepreneurship's Venture Development Center, as well as we have a home base right here in Wilmington at 1313 Innovation. So the plan is to keep this going. We're in the talks with a couple other, resources and funds to help raise money to do this over and over again. So we're really excited.
Well, Joel and Bryce, congratulations on your success, and thank you for taking the time to talk to me today.
I appreciate your time so much, David.